So welcome everyone to the Dune Immortality Imperium row tier list. I know a lot of you are excited for this video, so let's just jump right in. So this will be broken up into parts because there are a lot of cards to cover. So we'll cover the one cost cards first. So in general, if you look at the cards, I think the main things that change are two things. First of all is grafting. So grafting is these cards with this tinge of green on them. Let me point them out to you with my mouse. So like Plan Coupling, Dissecting Kit, Benny Twilight Researcher. So these cards allow you to graft, and when they allow you to play cards with other cards, and they're cards which only have effects when grafted. Such cards like Sadaka, Quartermaster, or Blank Slate. However, there are some cards that do not state that they need to be grafted, like Clandestine Meeting, or cards like where's Long Reach. So these cards also, when grafted, become very powerful because they have powerful payoffs. Some of these payoffs do not need to be enabled by grafting, but grafting is the easiest way to get it done. Okay, so in terms of grafting, what you need to know is that grafting is good, payoffs are bad. Okay, and due to atomic nukes, everyone's deck becomes stronger because no one buys lousy cards anymore. Everyone buys good cards. And if there aren't good cards, they will nuke the row and buy the good cards that are there. So in general, the card quality of everyone's deck has increased. And as such, you'll be starting to look at more S tier, A tier, and B tier cards. And you'll avoid C tier cards more. You used to be quite different about them, but C tier now feels bad. And D tier, you will avoid like a plague. I say this, but I'll still buy some D tier cards when it comes down to it. So let's jump right in, starting with High Priority Travel. This is a D tier card. When I buy it, I'm not very happy with it. I think about it like, what's that, Smuggler Stopter. So Smuggler Stopter I rate it as a B tier. When I have the influence, when I have the friendship, I think it's a high A tier card. When I buy it, I think it's a D tier card. When I have the influence for it, I think it's a high C tier card. So either way, not too great. I seen the disc symbol. So this symbol allows you to deploy troops this round as though it were combat space. I seen it come up sometimes, but most of the time it's not very good. D tier. Moving on, we have Blank Slate. Blank Slate is a bad card. I never buy it. Haven't bought it. Haven't seen it used well. D tier. So in terms of the scope of the one costed cards, this is where everything roughly stands. You can pause it. I'll give you about 3 seconds. Okay, moving on to the two costed card, we have Benny Twilight Lab. So Benny Twilight Lab is one of those cards which I have not bought. I don't expect myself to buy, and I don't think it's very good. So take it with a grain of salt, but I think it's D tier. Next card, we have Dissecting Kit. Dissecting Kit is a great enabler of grafting. Sure, you only get the cube benefit if you trash that card, but you don't have to trash that card, but most of the time you will. Even if you trash it with experimentation or another reconnaissance or a dagger, it is fine. It's a good way to get one more cube, to get a card out of your deck, and the reveal is relevant. Having a reveal to get one scarab can often lead you to an additional point. That's how potent this card is. It can push you to that one point. You do need some help with it, and playing it I think takes some getting used to. But overall, I love picking up this card. It enables a lot of grafting combos, and there are a lot of broken things you can do with grafting. A tier. So Sadaka Quartermaster, once again, this card requires you to graft to be powerful. However, I think in the scope of the two costed cards, I think it comes up to a low C tier, just because it has two swords on reveal. If you get it grafted, great, but most of the time you'll never get it grafted. The issue with these cards is that most of the times you just want to graft with an experimentation. I think when you have that comparison, then these effects aren't very powerful anymore. So low C tier, maybe even D tier. Then finally we have Shout Out Mapes. So Shout Out Mapes is one of those cards if you are going shipping a lot. So you have shipping priority, and then you have low actions. This is very good to deploy your troops into combat. Just by putting in one troop, at the end is a big element of surprise, and also the access is decent. So overall, it's a high C tier card, maybe a B tier card. I haven't not gotten enough plays of it. I've seen it used against me very well one game, and I have used it 2 times and has failed miserably. So somewhere in the C tier, I think, high C tier. So this is where everything stands. I like Dissecting Kit a lot, if you see where this ranks. Next up, we have the 3 costed cards. In the 3 costed cards, we have Corrupt Smuggler. So Corrupt Smuggler, I want to like this card. The only good thing about this card is the access it has. The reveal is terrible. The on reveal is rarely relevant, as you need enablers. Payoffs are not good, right? So it's only about the access. This card has about similar access as that two cost card that allows you to trash, and I prefer that card over this. I'll edit in post somewhere here. So as such, this card should rate lower than that card, and thus I put in the C tier. I do pick it up if I pick up some of the other enablers, the spacing enablers in particular. I think here you can see Interstellar Conspiracy. So if you pick up Interstellar Conspiracy, then you can pick up cards like this. But until you do, you don't really want this card. So next on the list is Organ Merchants. To be honest, I have not used this card. However, when I look at this card, I will be quite happy to play this card early to get the 4 Solari. 4 Solari is very good. I think it allows you to hit all your breakpoints quite easily, especially if you get 1 or 2 Solari free from somewhere else. Just having a 1 cube payoff, I think, a 1 cube cost, I think is fine. So you might use it once in the game. I think that will be worth it already. Then you have a somewhat mediocre card in your deck. But Solari, I guess it's okay, but just being able to enable you early, I think is not too bad. So that's why I'm putting in the B tier. But I have not played with this card, so take this with a grain of salt as well. So next we have Plan Coupling. Plan Coupling is a graph enabling card because it allows you to graph, and because it cycles also, this is an A tier card. I really like this card. Always happy to pick it up. Okay. Next we have Show of Strength. Show of Strength is one of those cards that has a good graph payoff. If you graph this card, you can draw 2 cards. And it also has other ways to be able to pay off if you have more troops than an opponent. And based on the number of times I played this, I think maybe I played this 5 times. 5 different games. And this on-play ability to be able to go to green and yellow spaces when you have more troops than others does come out. Okay, late in the game, you either want to be the first person to put in all the troops, whereas in the middle of the game, right, you kind of want to be the last person to put in all the troops. So you can put in like 1 or 2 troops early, and then it might just carry you all the way. And your next round, you can just play Show of Strength and draw 2 cards. The payoff is great. I'm not sure if it's easier to enable than Smuggler Stopter, but similarly, it's a B tier. When you enable it, it's great. Finally, we have, I think this is the last. No, we have one more after this. So next we have Spiritual Fervor. So Spiritual Fervor is a 3 costed card. It has no on play effect, but it has on real effect of revealing for 1 green cube. So the most important thing about this card is that when you buy it, you get experimentation. So all these early rewards are very important. They snowball you to later parts in the game. So this early experimentation can lead you to getting the early rewards, maybe get you the early intrigue cards, which furthers your game. Might get you to the first beetle, which gets you the 2 spies. It might get you to the first genetic marker, which allows you to activate some of your other cards' abilities. In essence, 1 research token can be worth up to maybe 0.7 of an action. It can be very high, the value of 1 experimentation. So especially early in the game. So this card has impressed me every time I bought it. Now I have 3, so I don't buy it round 1, round 2, but if round 3, round 4, I see on the row I have 3 persuasion, I would pick it up and be very happy with it. The extra green cube Twilight Cube generation also comes in very useful. Going to two cubes per rotation to 3 cubes per rotation is a 50% increase. And yes, there's a cost of having this card in your deck, but overall, cubes do turn into points as well due to the beetles, and the early experimentation is good. So if you see this card, do buy it. I think it's a good card. I'll rate it somewhere in the mid B tier. And finally, last of all, we have Twilight Surgeon. So Twilight Surgeon is a great card. You know, it is worth 3 points it's worth 2 points by itself. 2 points, 2 intrigues, and 2 spice. Because when you buy this card round 1, round 2, you're the first person to hit the first point on the beetle track. You know, and then you get 2 spice. You know, and so the issue is that you have to pay 2 cubes. So normally when you buy this card, you're not buying Twilight Su cards, but this card by itself is very strong. You can even go to wealth and accumulate points that way. So this card is very, very strong. I'm always very happy to pick it up, and I don't get to pick it up very often. I picked it up once, and yes, it generated me 2-3 points. Great card, S tier. So in the scheme of things, I think that Surgeon might be better than Saiyadina because of how much more flexible it is. And it gets you that 2 points. And the other cards are ranked here. So I think some of the earlier Rise of X cards and the base game cards can be downshifted a little bit. But in general, this is how things stand. But if you want to just see the Imperium roll so far, this is what we have. So S tier, Twilight Surgeon, cards which I never buy would be D tier. The C tier cards I will consider now and then. But I really like Graft Enablers. Dissecting Kit and Plan Coupling are great cards. Always happy to pick them up. They allow you to pick up other cards later on in the game which are not conventionally strong. But with these enablers, they become a whole lot better. Cards like Show of Strength. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to putting up the next one in a few days. And thanks always for supporting this channel. See you!